Hi everyone, it's been a while since we've done a sit-down video. In this video, we'll talk about the last quarter planning and how pregnancy changed the way I set my goals. We'll be planning the last quarter, which is October to December, which I consider the time to build momentum for 2026. Since I'm also pregnant, I'll also be talking about how pregnancy changed my perspective or my approach on planning the rest of the year. This video will not really be about achieving more goals, but aligning it with my values and also acknowledging what season I am right now in my life. So before I plan out the next quarter, I always do reflection first on the past quarter. I do have a separate video for that, so if you want to watch that first before planning your next quarter, just watch this video. So when I started setting my plans for 2025 in the beginning of this year, I didn't really put too much on the fourth quarter because I know a lot can happen in less than a year. So I put so much freedom and space for my last quarter, and then turns out I actually got pregnant. But I do have goals that I'm gonna be removing because I don't consider them as a priority anymore, or I don't really value them as much anymore. First one that I put as my mini goal is reaching a certain amount of subscribers, so I'm just gonna remove that one. And then another mini goal that I've set for the last quarter in the beginning of this year is to master the Japanese alphabet writing. So definitely have to remove that one. I have other things to worry about. Those are the only mini goals that I've set in the beginning of this year. So there were only two, and both I am removing because I don't consider them as a priority anymore. And with the season that I'm in right now, you know that I'm pregnant, we're expecting a baby, our priorities and our goals have just shifted 180. So the new goals that I'll be setting for this coming quarter, all about preparation, basically for when the baby arrives, for me, my family, and me and Shane and the baby. Just taking it really slowly. You know, I'm not gonna be expecting too much. It's more of like just preparing mentally, physically, and also the environment that we're in as well, just preparing all that. So one mini goal that I've set up for the last quarter would be preparing the baby room. Baby will be sleeping with us, of course. We'll have to plan out and rearrange this room that would be most efficient for Shane and I to move around. So that's one. It'll be nesting. So we'll also be preparing the other room, which is also baby room / guest room, because my family will be coming over here to spend Christmas and New Year. So I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to that because that's gonna be their first time spending Christmas here with me and with the baby. Another goal that I've set for the last quarter as well is breastfeeding plan. So yeah, I just have a lactation consultant, going to lactation classes, breastfeeding classes to really broaden my knowledge and my expectation as well for when I start breastfeeding, or in case I need to formula feed. I'm not really closing my doors on that as well, if in case, but as much as possible, hopefully I can just breastfeed. Another goal that I'll be setting for the next quarter would be my postpartum plan. How I'm gonna be dealing with it, my recovery, the support that I'll be needing. Yeah, and also just really broaden my knowledge in it. You know, it's not just planning, but also just really learning more about it and set my expectations. Another goal that I've set up is a newborn shoot. It's a first baby, and I think it would be really lovely to have a newborn shoot. So we're still planning and deciding on what theme, but we will definitely be doing that. Another goal would be preparing for birth, which I think I've already been doing since second trimester. So I've been learning more about it, listening to podcasts, reading, watching videos, broadening my knowledge about what to expect during birth, also attending classes. I might be adding more on this one, but like I said, our priorities has changed. It'll be all about building our family, preparing for that birth, plan around the future as well financially. That's also one of the goals that I've added as well, is to talk about our plans financially for when the baby arrives, because you know I'll be in maternity leave, Shane will also be in parental leave. We've already talked about that actually. So Shane and I have already done a financial reassessment. Last week we went to a cafe, we had a delicious drink, we had delicious breakfast. So it's kind of an exciting way of talking about finances because we're eating out. Well, to me at least. I really enjoy talking about finances regardless, but it's another way of making it more exciting by eating out and then sort of like doing it like as a meeting. That's it for my mini goals for the next quarter. Compared to my previous quarters, I have like a lot of mini goals and 3 main goals. But for this quarter, my main goal is just to really have a successful birth. That's it. I have no other main goal but just have a successful birth, you know, for the baby to be healthy, for me to have no complication. The season that I'm in right now is really different. You know, I'm pregnant. I get exhausted easily. There's gonna be a lot of changes once we have a baby, and we're really excited about that. You know, it's a part of growing up. I love it when people say that instead of like the negative things that once I give birth, oh, you're not gonna have enough sleep, you know. I mean, we expect that already, but why is it that when people either get married or have children or having a baby, they're gonna say something negative first? Like they say, are you never gonna have enough sleep, good luck, you're never gonna have intimate moments anymore. But I really appreciate those people who would actually say that once you have the baby, it might feel like it's exhausting, but it's the greatest feeling in the world. You'll have a different level of purpose, and you know, it's just a different kind of happiness and wealth that you'll feel once you have a baby. So I really appreciate those people who actually say, you know, encouraging and positive things. Me and Shane and I have set expectations. You know, we might fight a lot, definitely probably won't have enough sleep anymore, but we're both like, yeah, whatever. But that means that we have a baby though. We are living the dream. Another thing that I also consider when setting goals for the last quarter, now that I'm in this season of pregnancy, is that I will focus more on planning, or like the systems, rather than the goals that I want to achieve by the end of the year. Plan out the steps or the systems that Shane and I will be doing now that we're gonna be parents. By the end of the year, I should have done this and that. But it's more of like, for us to be able to adjust, this is sort of like our system that we're gonna do to make sure that we're doing things efficiently. Things are not really out of reach for both of us. We'll have different roles to play, but also doing things together still. Yeah, just focusing on the systems that we set rather than the goals that we will achieve, really. What I would really love to talk about on how my pregnancy changed the way I set my goals is working with my body's energy rather than working against it. I understand I don't have the same energy and motivation, I guess, pre-pregnancy, so I just really acknowledge that. I did have a breakdown at some point. I was really pushing myself too hard at work. No one's really pushing me to work too hard or to push myself, but it was me, because I used to be able to do all these things, do all these tasks within the shift, or really try my best to do all my tasks within the shift. In the morning, I have all the energy, the motivation. I'm like ready for the day, and all of a sudden, 2 p.m., I feel so exhausted all of a sudden, and feel nauseous, or I feel like I'm gonna faint, but not really faint, you know? So just a sudden drop of energy, and I still have things to do in my list, and in my mind, I'm like, why am I feeling this way? I still have things to do. I don't want them to pile up tomorrow. So I kept pushing. So I just look at the time, like 3 hours to go. Just let me just do this thing. Just 3 hours to go. Just let me finish. But then because I kept doing that day after day, I ended up really pushing myself too hard that by the end of the week, I'm like an empty can already, exhausted. My workmates are very understanding of my pregnancy journey, very considerate. It was just me. I'm the problem, it's me. This time, because of the changes of my energy, I actually consider rest now as a valid part of my routine. Another thing that changed the way I set my goals now that I'm pregnant is just really focusing on what matters. It's more on like, how does this align to this bigger plan or bigger goal that I want to achieve? You know, just like having a successful birth. Being flexible has always been a big thing when it comes to goal setting. I'm being open that it might change in the future, which is still the same thing on, you know, still what I consider now that I'm pregnant, but even more. Another thing that I also consider now that I'm pregnant, sharing those goals with my partner or with my family. Well, most importantly, Shane, because I'm always going to be with him. It's not just going to be me, you know, I'm not going to be alone in this pregnancy. Thankfully, thank God, I have Shane with me. One thing about me is I really like and enjoy planning. I love planning ahead. I love having a reason to plan and have to set systems or tasks to get to that goal and then achieve that goal. So I really enjoy planning. I'm already sort of future-oriented thinking person, but even more now that I'm pregnant or gonna become a parent, it's very exciting for me. That's it for this video, guys. It's not really an intensive goal setting, goal planning video. It's more just like a sit down and sharing where I'm at and how I set the last quarter of the year and what I'm considering as well. But on the next video, I'll be talking about 5 ways for preparing financially for when the baby arrives. So yeah, I hope you'll also really enjoy setting up your goals for the last quarter. I do have a playlist all about personal growth, so I love talking about goal setting and planning and reflection. Thank you again so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.